Good afternoon. I've just finished a productive meeting with President Erdogan, joined by members of his new cabinet.
Herkese iyi günler. Biraz önce Sayın Cumhurbaşkanı Erdoğan'la yeni kabinesindeki üyelerle birlikte oldukça verimli bir görüşme gerçekleştirdim.
Turkey is an important and highly valued ally, making key contributions to NATO. This includes troops for our peacekeeping mission in Kosovo, which is even more important now when tensions are high. I thank Turkey for sending reinforcements to northern Kosovo following the recent unrest. Turkey also contributes to NATO's training of Iraqi forces. It has pre-assigned forces to NATO's multinational battle group in Hungary, and Turkey has given Ukraine strong support, including through leadership of the Black Sea Grain Initiative. I was last here in Turkey a few months ago to show my solidarity in the wake of the devastating earthquake. Since then, NATO has provided major support to the response, including temporary housing for thousands of displaced people. In my meeting with President Erdogan, I congratulated him on his re-election and on the high turnout among the Turkish people. President Erdogan and I discussed a range of issues that will be on the agenda for next month's NATO summit in Vilnius. We addressed NATO's strong support to Ukraine, work to further bolster our deterrence and defense, and support to Ukraine, and the importance of our presence in Kosovo, and not least the fight against terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. We also discussed Sweden's bid for NATO membership. Turkey has legitimate security concerns. No other ally has faced more terrorist attacks. Sweden has taken significant concrete steps to meet Turkey's concerns. This includes amending the Swedish constitution, ending its arms embargo, and stepping up counter-terrorism cooperation, including against the PKK. Important new terrorism legislation has come into force just a few days ago. So Sweden has fulfilled its obligations. At the same time, I understand it is hard to see demonstrations against Turkey and against NATO in Sweden. But let me be clear, freedom of assembly and expression are core values in our democratic societies. These rights must be protected and upheld. But we should remember why these demonstrations are taking place. The organizers want to stop Sweden from joining NATO. They want to block Sweden's counter-terrorism cooperation with Turkey, and they want to make NATO weaker. We should not allow them to succeed. At the Madrid summit last year, Turkey, Finland and Sweden signed a trilateral memorandum paving the way for Finland and Sweden's NATO's membership. This included the establishment of a permanent joint mechanism to strengthen cooperation between Turkey, Finland and Sweden, especially in the fight against terrorism. President Erdogan and I agreed today that the permanent joint mechanism should meet again in the week starting on the 12th of June. Membership will make Sweden safer, but also NATO and Turkey stronger. I look forward to finalizing Sweden's accession as soon as possible. With that, I'm ready to take your questions.
If you could just please raise your hand if you have a question, and then identify yourself when I call on you.
As you also mentioned in your remarks, on the 11th and 12th of July, there will be a NATO summit in Vilnius. Do you think Sweden will sit at that summit as a member?
It is still time to make that happen by the Vilnius summit, and we need to remember that all allies made an historic decision last summer at the summit in Madrid in June last summer, where also Turkey, along with all of the NATO allies, decided to invite both Finland and Sweden to become full members of the alliance. And since then, we have seen Finland joining the alliance as a full-fledged member. Sweden has become much closer to NATO through the decision to be invited by all allies last summer. And then what we have seen is that Sweden has implemented the agreement that President Erdogan negotiated with Sweden and Finland at the Madrid summit. And this agreement, the joint memorandum, points out of the need to do more on terrorism, to lift the restrictions on export of weapons and military material equipment to Turkey. And since then, Sweden has amended its constitution, strengthened counter-terrorism legislation, lifted its arms embargo. So now actually it is as easy to export military material from Sweden to Turkey as to any other NATO ally. And then we have seen also that Finland, that Sweden and Turkey are now working much more closely when it comes to exchanging information and intelligence to support the efforts to fight terrorism.
Over here, please.
We're interested in knowing your views about what's happening in Kosovo and what awaits Turkish and NATO soldiers there.
What we have seen in Kosovo over the last days are increased tensions and also violence, unprovoked attacks against the NATO soldiers.
Kosovo'da son olanlar artan gerilimleri ve maalesef NATO askerlerinin saldırıları da kapsamaktadır.
And I strongly condemn the unprovoked attacks against the KFOR personnel, the NATO KFOR peacekeepers that NATO has in Kosovo.
Bu tamamen provoke edilmeksizin gerçekleştirilen saldırılar maalesef KFOR askerlerini ve barışı tehlikeye atmaktadır.
KFOR and NATO will take all necessary actions to maintain a safe and secure environment for all citizens in Kosovo, and will continue to act impartially in line with our United Nations mandate.
KFOR ve NATO ilgili tüm NATO ve Birleşmiş Milletler Güvenlik Konseyi kararları uyarınca tarafsız bir şekilde ve Kosova'nın tüm vatandaşlarını koruyacak şekilde faaliyetlerine devam edecektir.
And I welcome the decision by Turkey to provide additional forces to the KFOR presence in Kosovo.
Türkiye'nin Kosova'daki NATO varlığına ilave birliklerle katkıda bulunması kararından dolayı müteşekkirim.
And we are now deploying around 700 more NATO troops from the operational reserve, and Turkey is leading this effort of providing extra forces.
Halihazırda NATO'nun operasyonel rezervlerinden 700 askerin bölgeye intikali sürecindeyiz ve Türkiye bu sürece liderlik etmektedir.
These are prudent steps that we are taking to ensure that we have the capabilities in place to be able to fulfill our mandate.
Görevimizi yerine getirebilmek adına aldığımız bu ihtiyati tedbirleri gerektiğinde değerlendirmeyi sürdüreceğiz.
Both Pristina and Belgrade must take concrete steps to de-escalate the situation and refrain from further irresponsible behavior.
Hem Priştine hem Belgrad sorumlu davranışa davet ediyoruz ve sürecin tırmanmasının durması ve sakinleşmesi için üzerlerine düşen adımları atmalarını bekliyoruz.
And they should engage in the EU-facilitated dialogue, which is the only path to a political and lasting peaceful solution.
If there are no further questions, that concludes this press point. Thank you very much.